Hi guys, it's Michael, and today I'm kind of pissed. And the reason I'm pissed is because I've just learned that General Electric has changed their water filter. Now they've done this a while back. It's probably over a year, or maybe it's even 2 years. But their newer refrigerators use what is known as a RPWFE water filter. And this water filter has an RFID chip on it. And that enables the refrigerator to determine whether you're using a General Electric branded water filter. If you try to buy a third-party filter like one of these, it won't work because it doesn't have an RFID chip on it. Now, what's really aggravating is General Electric used to make a RPWF water filter, and that would work just fine in this newer refrigerator, except it lacks the RFID chip. So therefore, it won't work in this refrigerator. Why is that a big deal? Well, because these filters, the RPWFE filters, cost about $50 each. And the older filter was half that cost, if not even less. And furthermore, you can buy third-party water filters, which are equivalent to the RPWF filter, for even less. So obviously, if you can get a hold of RPWF filters, that would be advantageous, but they won't work in the newer refrigerator because they lack the RFID chip. However, there is a workaround. But before I get to that, let me just express my displeasure about Keurig, because they've done the same thing with K-Cups. No longer can you just use an off-the-shelf, no-name brand K-Cup. No, 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 no. Keurig has instituted a feature where if you don't use a Keurig K-Cup, then it won't work. Well, there's workarounds for that, and you can Google that and find out. Also, toner cartridges and laser printers. A lot of the same thing going on there. And inkjet printers use the same thing with their ink cartridges. So there's a lot of BS going on with these companies trying to lock you into paying their exorbitantly priced water filters, ink cartridges, laser toner, water filters, whatever. Anyway, we are going to work around that today, and that's what I want to show you. So if you have a GE refrigerator that uses the new RPWFE filter, fear not. By the end of this video, you will at least have a technique that you can choose to use or not to enable you to move that RFID chip over to a much less expensive third-party water filter like this. Now, many of you with your GE refrigerators, you should have gotten one of these. This is called a bypass cartridge. And yes, even this has an RFID chip on it. And that is going to come in handy because there's two methods to defeat this. And one of them requires taking the RFID chip off of this and putting it on your third-party filter. The other technique is to take the RFID chip off of an RPWFE water filter and placing it either on the third party, or you can actually put it on the inside where the filter goes, and I'll show you that once we switch camera positions. But first of all, this filter is a little older now. I've come to understand, I haven't seen one, but the newer filters actually have the chip glued onto the cartridge because General Electric obviously caught wind of the fact that people were defeating it. So my filter is older, and actually all I have to do is peel off the sticker very carefully, and the RFID chip is actually adhered to the back of the sticker, and it's very, very easy to do this technique with this type of filter. So I'm just carefully peeling this off here, and you can see that the RFID chip is basically right there. You can't really see it. It's sort of behind this very thin layer of paper, but it is right there. So what I'm going to do, for me, this is very easy. All I have to do is peel this off, put it on the third-party filter cartridge, and I'm good to go. However, if you've got one that's glued on, well, you've got more of a challenge there, and that's where it might be almost impossible to get it off And I'm not going to go into that technique because I don't have one, so I can't show it to you. But that's where getting the bypass filter is going to work, possibly. Of course, I guess they probably glue it on the bypass filter as well. But in any case, let's do the technique that I am able to show you right now. So what you need to do is you need to put this on the new cartridge in exactly the same position, because the sensor that is in the refrigerator knows where it is, and when you put the cartridge in, it's locked in an exact position. So you need to make sure that when you move it to the cartridge, it's in the exact same position. Now, this cartridge that I got, you've got to do your research and choose a company that makes a reliable cartridge, because there's a lot of made in China cartridges that aren't effective at filtering water. And that's the whole point. We want safe water. We want to make sure that the minerals and chemicals and bad stuff is filtered out before we drink it. Now, the GE cartridges are good quality cartridges. I'm not denying that, but I think you can buy a third-party cartridge that has very, very similar filtering capabilities. That's up to you to do that research. I did my research, and I've decided to get the water drip cartridges. Here's my third-party filter. Here's my real GE filter. I have sort of started to peel the RFID chip off, but I'm just going to put it back temporarily. So you see how the filter attaches into the refrigerator. It makes it easy, because of all these pieces of plastic and tabs and what have you, to line these up perfectly. So get them lined up, and then again, there's the seam that separates the left and the right half here, and that is on both of these filters. I can see it very clearly. So I'm just getting my rubber band, and you could just do the same thing. I think this is the easiest way, and just get it right on where that seam is. And then when you make sure it's straight, you know you've got it exactly in the right position. Get them lined up just right. Get your piece of paper, put it at the very top edge. You can see the outline of the RFID chip there. So just put it on the top edge. You just want to put your little black dot, and then move it down to the bottom of the RFID chip and do the same thing. And when you do that, you've got your two little black dots there and there. And that's the median. That's where the RFID chip has to go. Now, alternatively, if you don't want to just move the label right over to the other one, just like I showed you, because you're going to have to change that every single time you replace the filter, a better way to do it, perhaps, go to your filter door, open it up. You just want to put probably a towel down, because you may get some drips of water as you're doing this. So let me just put a little towel down there. Now, to remove the filter from the refrigerator, you just pivot it out. You don't twist it, just pull it straight out. And it comes right out just like that. Now, before you pull it out, you can sort of see roughly where that sensor area is going to be, right about there. So what I need to do is I need to peel my sticker off of here, and then I need to stick that sticker right there, and I need to make sure that the sensor, again, is the proper distance down here. Now, again, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can put the filter back in, put a tiny black dot on the inside of the holder there, right where the bottom of the filter is. Then get your filter and measure from this point to the very bottom edge of the RFID chip. And then take that measurement, and that's where the bottom of the chip needs to go. So that makes it easy to make sure it's exactly in the right place. So again, pull this out, and let's do that. So I measured it's going to be about 6 1/8. So I'm going to just make a tiny little dot at 6 1/8. And again, conveniently, there's this screw head right here, and that's right in the middle of this where the cartridge goes. So that dot represents the bottom edge of the RFID chip. Bottom edge of the RFID chip needs to go right here. So I'm just going to draw a little line there. So here's my label, and you can see the RFID chip now there a little more clearly. And I basically just have to stick it right there. Now, how am I going to stick it there? You could use a piece of two-sided tape. You could cut this more to size. Just leave maybe a small margin that you can just then tape it. Now, once you've got your filter installed, you do need to flush it out or purge it. So you're going to get some gurgling and spitting. But that's a good sign that water is coming out, because that means that I was successful in properly placing the RFID chip. Now, if you wanted to use the RFID chip that is on the bypass cartridge, I just want to show you what that looks like. So when I peel the sticker back, you can see there is the RFID chip. Now you're going to have to carefully get that out of there somehow. I haven't messed with this, so I can't really give you instruction on how to do that, but it might be very possible if you get an X-Acto knife. You don't want to bend that chip. You have to use a lot of care, but I imagine it's glued in there and you just need to peel it out. But that's for another video, another day. My water is working great with that third-party filter, and the main thing is just to make sure that you get that RFID chip placed correctly inside the refrigerator. So now I've got my water flowing again. Now there's one thing I can't really give you a definitive answer on. I will tell you that you are still probably going to get the warning on the refrigerator door that tells you that the filter needs to be replaced. You can ignore it. I haven't reset that because I don't know if there's a number, some sort of a serial number tied into the RFID chip. Maybe someone else can chime in if they know the answer to that. But I haven't reset that because I'm fearful that this RFID chip is serialized, and therefore the refrigerator will know that, I don't know, that it's lasting forever, that it shouldn't. So it doesn't bother me. I'm going to have a recurring event set up for my calendar to replace my filter every 3 to 6 months, whatever it is going to turn out to be. Each filter does have a life. It's only going to do so many gallons of water. You just need to figure that out for yourself, and then just replace it after a certain amount of months go by. I don't care that the light's on. It's really irrelevant to me. I'm just going to change my filter periodically, and I'm going to save a lot of money in the process. I hope this helps you out. It will save you money for sure, and I think it's just reprehensible that General Electric does this, and they're not alone. It'll certainly affect my decision as whether I purchase more General Electric refrigerators in the future. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching.